What is the sluttiest thing you have ever done? I'm female. Just shouted to my guy, honey, what's the sluttiest thing you've ever done? You? Got a smooth handy in the back of my girlfriend's car while her mom drove us home. Zedged in my pants. I'm a guy. I have a lot of stories. I posted this one a while ago. Went to a concert. Girl starts dancing up on me. When the concert is over, we head to a parking garage and start making out. She blows me in the stairwell and says afterwards, well, that's the most cuffed up thing I've ever done. I walk her to find a ride and her mother pulls up. We've been looking everywhere for you, she says. Then she notices me and says, oh, thank you for looking after her. I give her a little nod and a wave, turn the corner, and start booking it. I once ate a banana in one bite without losing eye contact with my friends. I'm male. I don't know if this counts, but I unintentionally peed in a girl's mouth while getting a whiskey cinnabajob on a bathroom floor. I didn't know I peed a bit until she swallowed and said, wow, that was a lot of muck. I was so drunk that I was nowhere near finishing. I didn't realize what happened till the next day. Female. Went on a second date to see I Am Number 4. The movie was so terrible. About 45 minutes in, I leaned over to the guy and told him, if we leave now, I will let you touch my boobs. Later married him. I still let him touch my boobs. On the 4th this year, I went to a party only knowing this one girl I had just reconnected with. We drank whiskey. I ended up making out with her, her sister, and her boyfriend. I'm male. Well, I'm a guy. Worst thing I've ever done was catching a slow blow from my ex outside of a party, walking back into said party only to run into a girl I hadn't seen in years. Jokingly said, want to go outside or what? Charming, I know. And to all surprise, she excitedly said yes and drags me out behind a garage and we get down. A couple hours later, I'm getting ready to leave and a third girl wants to come over and crash at my place. So that happened. It was a weird night. Male. Got really wasted at a club. According to rumors, I made out with 4 girls, one of them being one of my teachers. I only remember the girl with which I woke up on the kitchen floor of her best friend's apartment. We knocked over her spice rack. Male. One morning in my drinking days, I woke up in a strange girl's bed. Found my way out and went home. Went out drinking again that night, blacked out, and woke up in a different strange girl's bed the next morning. As I stumbled my way out, I realized the apartment looked familiar. Then noticed the previous morning girls making coffee in the kitchen. Yep, went home with roommates 2 nights in a row without even knowing. Well, I was having a Skype sesh late at night with a cuff buddy. We were both frustrated because it was taking too long to muck. So we both drove a half an hour at 3 o'clock in the morning and had sex for an hour on a blanket outside a museum. I got home at 5, fell asleep, woke up late for class, didn't have time to shower, went to school with muck all over me. Girl here. When I was 14, I was introduced to a group of friends who were going through a phase of constantly making out with each other. Before that day, I'd only kissed one boy on the lips once. There was a guy and 2 girls, and within a few hours of meeting them, I'd made out with all of them, including 2 3-way makeout sessions. Guy here. Went to a club. Music wasn't so good, so I got pretty bored. A girl starts flirting with me. I wasn't really that attracted to her, but I thought, what the hell, and went with it anyway. She got me a bit drunk, we danced and made out, and she convinced me to go to her car. We had awkward car sex. She kept a condom in her boot. Something tells me she planned on getting laid that night. And then I walked her back to the club and then went home. Didn't bother exchanging phone numbers. The weirdest part was when out of the blue she asked me what my psychometrics test score, kind of like the SAT, was, and then bragged that her score was 1 point higher. Met a girl from my country while on vacation. We got each other drunk and cuffed. Never really talked with her after that. That was how I lost my virginity. I'm a girl and I had sex in a church. Twice. With 2 different guys. Neither of them were my boyfriend. Also, both times, we had to break in to do it. So along with committing the crime of breaking and entering, I also sealed my eternity in hell. Wasn't even drunk. Not the worst. But when I was 18, I went interrailing around Europe. We got into a routine of going to the most popular club crawls in many major cities. Prague, Budapest, Berlin, Brussels, Cologne, etc. By the end of the trip, it felt like I drunkenly made out with someone from every country in Europe, most of whom I would be hard-pressed to remember the faces of today. Good times. Would recommend. Eartha Kitt, when I nailed her in an airplane bathroom. One time while I was a DJ at a popular strip club in Philadelphia, I was basically forced to ejaculate on my boss's face to keep my job. I quit 2 weeks later. It was too awkward saying hello to her in a respectful manner after that. Fun at the time, though. Cuffed a friend because my vibe was out of batteries. Not a high moment for me. Last month, 3 girls were over my house. I kissed each of them individually, then they kissed each other. Then they flashed me. Then I kissed all 3 of them at the same time. Then I made out with one of them. This was my first legit kiss. And first time seeing boobs in a sexual context in person. Got a bit horny whilst out with a cuff buddy and got it on in a former underpass filled with sand. Some of it had fallen out, making a little cave. Caught the eye of a passing man walking his dog. Beat off same cuff buddy in a full car driven by his brother. No one noticed, or they've kept quiet. Female. I had a male friend who worked as a bi prostitute and used to host sex parties. Think short bus movie. The crowd was usually a mix of about 12 to 20 people, most of them regular attendees, and I'd fool around with a few. Lots of touching, kissing. I'd maybe cuff one or two guys, suck some sinup, or fist a girl. I had my preferred people to play with there, and it was all safe, sane, consensual all the time, and everybody was really cool. Well, one night as we lazed on his bed talking, he mentioned that my birthday was coming up and asked me what I wished for as a gift. I jokingly told him I wanted 1 inch of sinup for every year I'd been alive. At mid-30s, that didn't seem too crazy inch-wise. Fast forward to the next month, my birthday month, and I show up at the party. Odd that no other girls were there, just a room full of hot guys in all shapes and sizes. I sat down to talk to one of my favorite regular guys, and up walks my friend with a shot glass and a bottle of Patron. He leans over and whispers in my ear, "They're all for you. You can have your wish, or we can just chill and have some drinks. Your choice." I looked around the room, thinking that I was out of my mind for even considering it. But then I grabbed the shot glass and the tequila, knocked one back, then leaned over and kissed my friend. That set in motion 3 of the best hours of my life. I hesitate to use the term gangbang because that sounds just nasty and dirty. Not at all what my experience was. So many hands and mouths everywhere made me orgasm before I even touched a sinup. I had every one of their sinups inside my aesop in my mouth before we were finished. And my serbs were covered in muck. Most of the guys were bi or bi-friendly, so there was a bit of fluffing going on, which was totally hot to watch too. Personally, I don't think what I did was slutty, because it was a fantasy that I had the opportunity to fulfill, and I made a conscious decision to do it. Luckily, I had a friend with other friends who made the experience truly fantastic, but I can see how other people might think it was slutty and judge me for it. I don't regret it at all, but I do worry that someday, if and when I have dementia, I'll run around hollering about the time I got cuffed by 13 hot guys. Lol. And I'd like to say that I wouldn't recommend everybody fulfill this kind of fantasy if he or she has it. You really have to know yourself well, both mentally and emotionally. And you absolutely must have the right people to do it with. No immaturity, no jealousy, no light of day regrets. One wrong person in the mix and you can napalm your entire life. I had a girlfriend, but was having some questions about myself. Got an app similar to Grindr and meet up with a guy for a few beers, who is as old as my dad, before I follow him back to his place and I make out, suck sinup, and have Lena intercourse as a bottom, all for the first time. Holy tish, did I figure out some things about myself. I broke up with my girlfriend after that, not telling her what I had done before that went any further. Glad I didn't get married or whatever, but I definitely went through a mini slut phase after that as well. Went from thinking I was borderline asexual to having a very high libido almost overnight. No throwaway, because no shame. TLDR, I had drunk sex with 7 different girls over 5 days because of a competition. So about a year ago, I was at the Roskilde Festival in Denmark, a music festival that you sleep at for a week, in a camp with 10 metalheads, where the alpha guy announced the annual Tour the Aesop, which is a stupid competition on who can get laid the most during the course of the festival. I made it into a little game. Every night I'd go to a campfire and just chill out alone with a beer or two. Usually at some point a group of girls would come up to me, and I'd bone one of them. This went on without me really thinking about it as a big deal, but after 5 days, I woke up and cried. I had had sex with 7 different girls, and I couldn't remember any of their faces or names, me being hungover. I felt like Tish. Sex can be both fun and beautiful, but having sex for the numbers isn't all that great. My now girlfriend calls me a man slut from time to time because of it. Oh, and I got an STD. Cuff that. Went out one Saturday night and got into some weird private club because I was sort of dating the DJ at the time. I remember a whole lot of drugs and free booze. And then suddenly, it was 6 hours later, and I woke up in the passenger seat of a car I didn't own on the opposite side of town. Hours later, I made it back to my place with a hangover I thought would literally kill me. Sent out a PSA to my 2 benefriends offering a BJ in exchange for vitamin water. One came through with not 1, but 2 vitamin waters. So obs I cuffed him while watching DC Cupcake on Netflix.